Hello everyone, this is Pooja Sharma, Class 10 Geography Lesson 1 Resource and Development. In this video, we will discuss frequently asked question of this chapter. Let's move to our first question. What is meant by resources? Everything can be used to satisfy our needs provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable can be termed as resource. Second question is classify the resources on various bases. So there are four types of resources. First is on the basis of origin, second on the basis of exhaustibility, third on the basis of ownership, and last is fourth on the basis of status of development. So first is on the basis of origin. On the basis of origin, biotic resources and abiotic resources are come. Biotic resources. These resources are obtained from biosphere and have life. For example, animal, plants, human being, etc. Abiotic resources. These resources are composed on non-living things like metal, rocks, land, water, solar, sunlight, etc. Second is on the basis of exhaustibility. It have two types, renewable resources and non-renewable resources. The resources which can be renewed, reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical process are called renewable resources like forest, water, wind energy, solar energy. The renewable resources may be divided into continuous or flow resources, wind, water, and biological resources and forest. Biological resources may be divided into natural vegetation and wildlife. Non-renewable resources. These resources take millions of years in their formation. They can't be renewed or reproduced once they are used up, like coal, petroleum, metal, etc. Some of the resources are recycled, like iron, copper, etc. Third classification of resources is on the basis of ownership. In that, first is individual, that is privately owned like land, house, well, pond, etc. Second is community resources, accessible to all members of the community like village, commons, grazing ponds, grazing grounds, parks, playground, etc. National, they belong to the nation like minerals, water resources, forest, wildlife, etc. And all the minerals, water resources that comes in the oceanic area up to 12 nautical areas, 12 nautical miles or 22.2 kilometer from the coast terms as water and resource therein belong to the nation. And fourth is international. They are regulated by international institutions like oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zone. Fourth classification of fourth classification of resources on the basis of the status of development. It is divided in four parts: potential resources, developed resources, stock, and reserves. So, first we will talk about potential resources. Resources which are found in a region but have not utilized till. For example, that western part of India, particularly Rajasthan and Gujarat, have enormous potential for the development of wind and solar energy, but till they are not developed it properly. So it is comes in potential resources, means Gujarat and Rajasthan have a potential to develop wind and solar energy, but they are not till used. Second is developed resources, resources which are surveyed and their quantity and quality have been determined for utilization. The development of resources depends on technology and the level of their feasibility. Third is stock, material in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the proper technology to access these resources. So this is stock. Like example, we have a water, we have a hydrogen and oxygen, two gases that makes a water, but we are not have a proper technology to convert hydrogen and oxygen in water. Fourth is reserves. Reserves are the subset of the stock which can be put into use with the help of existing technical, but there has not been use started. Why? Because it is secure for future requirements. Like river water can be used for generating hydroelectricity power, but presently it is being utilized only to a limited part, because we need to save for our future generation. So that is reserve resource. So now our next third question is, what is Agenda 21? So Agenda 21 is a program which is started by our government. It is the development or declaration designed by world leaders in 1992 at the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, UNCED, which took place at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It aims at achieve global sustainable development. It is an agenda to combat environmental damage, poverty, disease through global cooperation, common interest, mutual needs, and shared responsibility. Every local government should draw its own local Agenda 21. So now our fourth question is, explain major problems caused by indiscriminate use of resources. So resources have been depleted for satisfying the greed of a few individuals. So the resources get accumulated in few hands, which in turn divide the society into two segments. One is rich, another one is poor. So indiscriminate exploitation of resources has led to global ecological crises such as global warming, ozone layer depletion, environmental pollution, and land degradation. Human activities like deforestation, overgrazing, construction, and mining have led to soil erosion. Mining sites are abandoned after excavation work, is complete, leaving deep scars and trace of overburdening. So now our fifth question is explain the three steps involved in the resource planning in India. So resource planning is a technique or skill of proper utilization of resources. Planning is a widely accepted strategy for judicious use of resources. So it have a three phases, that is resource inventory. That mean in this involves surveying, mapping and qualitative and quantitative estimate and measurement of the resources across the country. Second, evaluation. In this, including evolving a planning structure endowed with appropriate technology, skill, and institutional setup for implementing resource development plan. And third is matching the resources. This consists of matching the resources development plans with overall national development plans. So now our sixth question is explain human activities which are mainly responsible for land degradation in India. So in our country we are seeing that land degradation is caused by many terms. So mining sites are abandoned after excavation work is complete, leaving deep scars. This is the main reason of the land degradation. Second, in the state of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Odisha, deforestation due to mining has caused severe land degradation. Third, in the state like Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, there is overgrazing. And fourth, mineral processing generate dust and retard infiltration of water into the soil. And fifth, in the state of Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, over irrigation is responsible for land degradation due to waterlogging, leading to increase in salinity and alkalinity in the soil. So these are the human activities which are mainly responsible for land degradation in India. Now our seventh question is how can the problem of land degradation be solved in India? So the vegetation provide the protective cover to the land. Vegetation cover does not allow the rain water to fall straight on the land, thus helps to maintain the soil fertility. Afforestation helps to solve the problem of land degradation. Shelter belts can be created on the margins of the desert area. In semi-arid areas, land degradation can be curbed by cultivation technique. It is based on moisture conservation. The industrial effluents and waste are the major cause of land degradation. Therefore, effective measures must be taken for the proper discharge and disposal of industrial waste. Overgrazing of land by animals is to be controlled, and it is also necessary to establish the shifting of sand dunes in the desert areas. It can be done the planting thorn bushes. Eighth question is, explain the factors responsible for the formation of soil. So soil is the most important renewable natural resource. It is the medium of plant growth and support different types of living organism on the earth. The soil is a living system. It takes million of years to form soil up to a few centimeter in depth. Relief, parent rocks or bed rocks, climate, vegetation and other forms of life are responsible for soil formation. In that, first thing is relief. Steep slopes have thin soil layer due to erosion. Thick fertile soils are developed in the valleys and lowlands. Second thing is parent rock. Soils are formed by weathering of rocks. Depending on the types of rocks, there are different types of soil also. Third thing is climate. The process of weathering, quantity of moisture, dryness in the soil depend on climate. Fourth is vegetation, and the amount of humus in the soil depend upon the vegetation cover. Areas under thick vegetation have more fertile soil, but desert lands have less fertile soil and less humus. Fifth is time. The physical, chemical, and organic process take place and led to the formation of fertile soil only in a long span of time. So these are the factors which is responsible for the formation of soil. Our next ninth question is, what is soil erosion? What measures should be taken to control soil erosion in the hilly areas? So soil erosion means the denudation of soil cover and subsequent washing down is described or known as soil erosion. And the measures that is taken to control soil erosion is contour plugging. In that, plugging along the contour lines can declarate the flow of water down the slopes. Terrace cultivation, in that steps can be cut out on the slopes, making terrace cultivation restricted erosion. And next is strip cropping. In strip cropping, large fields can be divided into strips. Strips of grass are left to grow between the crops, and this breaks up the force of the wind at that area. Fourth is shelter belts. Between the crops, trees are planted to create shelter. These are called shelter belts. These shelter belts have contributed significantly to the stabilization of sand dunes and in establishing the desert in western India. So now our last question of this chapter is question number 10. Write three different characteristics of the soil which is found in Maharashtra and Gujarat and is suitable for the cultivation of cotton. So that soil name is black soil, that is found in Maharashtra and Gujarat, and its characteristic is black soils are known as Reger soil. These soils are made up of extremely fine particles like clayey material. These soils have good capacity to hold moisture. They are rich in calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash, and lime, but poor in phosphoric contents. They develop deep cracks during hot weather, which help in the proper aeration of the soil. These are ideal for growing cotton, groundnut, sugar cane, these types of crops. So our important question of resource and development chapter is completed. I hope all the questions are clear to you. Thank you everyone.